This is the beginning of a movement. It's not going to end whether Trump wins or whether Harris wins.
They're highly energized activists with hope. And as he puts it, activism thrives on it. Craig Boswell, TRT World, Arizona.
Well, let's discuss that further with Nizar Farsakh. He's a lecturer of international affairs at George Washington University. He joins us live now. Good to have you in the programme. So would that then be a knockout punch for the Harris campaign if these Arab Americans vote against her?
It does make a slight shift. However, the last poll I saw, Kamala had a good 4-point lead, because I think the last gathering in which there were a lot of racist speakers on the Trump campaign offended a lot of Latinos. So that might have affected it. I could see, even if Kamala gets Arizona, ultimately it's Pennsylvania that's going to make the difference. So if Trump gets Pennsylvania, Arizona is not going to make a difference. So there are these, it's true that now Kamala has gotten a lead when last week it was Trump that had a slight lead. But again, it really all, what makes a difference is the day of the vote.
Well, there's definitely, so much going on in this election, as you mentioned. Trump has also offended Latinos. But, what we have seen is that those who, of course, support the Palestinian cause, there is this anger when it comes to, the current policy of the US administration when it comes to the Israel war in Gaza. And those voters may then well turn against Harris as a result. But what do we know about Trump's pledges or policies when it comes to the Middle East crisis? Can he be the peace broker?
If he's not going to be the peace broker, he does have he has credibility in ending wars and not being interested in protracted wars. That is something all voters agree on. And therefore, when you're faced with do you choose Harris or do you choose Trump, there is a higher likelihood that Trump is going to end the war sooner, which by necessity means less Palestinians get killed. The main issue that the pro-Palestine faction is not just Palestinians and Muslims. It's also African Americans and other pro-Palestinians that see in the politicians' stance on Palestine as a bellwether on their position on all other things. So the challenge that Harris has is that she's too center for a big chunk of the left. And many of them see, in fact, Trump as a lesser evil, just for the mere fact that less Palestinians are going to get killed. Yes, he's probably going to accept Israeli annexation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip, and maybe even defund UNRWA. But even in that scenario, less Palestinians would be killed, and that's what's making him much more credible in Michigan.
Well, the irony of a convicted felon being a lesser evil is not lost. But when it comes to whichever candidate wins, US support of Israel is, though, unlikely to change.
It's unlikely to change as far as arms and what have you, but as far as political pressure, no, I could see, the Biden administration, and then if it's Harris, they could pressure Israel if they choose to. The capacity is there. And as far as Trump is concerned, the thing with Trump is that he's completely amoral and completely transactional. So if something is going to help him or make him, and he's very attuned to public opinion, he's much more flexible and much more elastic, let's say. So, for example, when he was first elected in 2016, for the first 6 months, in fact, there were direct talks with the Palestinian ambassador here in Washington on trying to hash out a peace deal because Trump wanted to be the president that succeeded where all others failed, which is very unheard of in DC politics. But then after 6 months, of course, he realized that Bibi Netanyahu was not interested in a peace deal, and therefore Trump was not going to get that legacy. So he shifted completely on the Israeli side.
Right. Now, I know that there are lots of ifs and buts when it comes to this election, but who's your money on?
That's a good one. I think Harris is going to lose because she's also didn't pay attention to the Gen Z. Almost half of them lied about where they stand, and they do make 20% of the electorate. So I think Gen Z is going to be the big question mark.
You sound a bit like a parent of a Gen Zer, but Nizar Farsakh, we'll leave it there, but thank you so much for your analysis on the programme tonight.
Thank you.